My parents took out a $170,000 loan in my name to fund my golden boy brother's luxury lifestyle. Now they regret it, but it's way too late to fix what I've already done. I'm Jake, 23 years old, and until recently, I really thought I was finally getting my life on track. I had just graduated college, landed an amazing internship, and for once, everything felt like it was going right. I'd busted my ass to get to this point, and I was starting to feel genuinely proud of myself. Then everything fell apart. One day, I get this email from the bank. At first, I figure it's just another generic notification or something, but when I actually open it, my heart nearly stops. It says I owe $170,000. $170 freaking thousand. I'm staring at the screen, frozen, thinking there's no way. This has got to be some kind of mistake. My entire college tuition was supposed to be around $85,000, max. And that's if I didn't get any scholarships, which I did. So how the hell do I owe double that? I start racking my brain, trying to figure it out. Maybe the bank made a typo, added an extra zero. I know that sounds stupid, but I was grasping at anything that could make this make sense. My mind's spinning. I mean, I knew I had some student loans, but nothing like this. I thought I was being smart, borrowing just enough to cover what my scholarship didn't, working part-time at a cafe, keeping my spending low. So where the hell is this $170,000 coming from? First thing I do is call my parents. I'm trying to stay calm, but I'm already sweating. My mom picks up, and I explain what's going on. She's just like, "Oh, don't worry, it's probably some kind of mix-up with the bank. We'll figure it out." But the way she says it, like she's barely paying attention, makes me even more nervous. I push a little harder. "Mom, this is serious. The bank says I owe $170,000. I need to understand why." There's this long pause. Then she says something about how they did take out a loan in my name for college, but it shouldn't be that high. She tries to brush it off again. "Don't worry, we'll talk later," but I'm not having it. I ask her straight up, "Did you take out more than I needed? Like, did you take out the full loan amount just in case?" She goes silent. I can practically hear her scrambling for what to say. Eventually, she admits, "Well, yeah, we took out the full amount, just to make sure everything was covered if your scholarship didn't come through." Now I'm the one who's speechless. Why would they take out so much money when it wasn't needed? My scholarship covered a huge chunk, and I had savings and a job for the rest. None of this adds up. I start pressing her for more info. That's when she slips up and says something like, "Well, your brother needed help too." My brain short circuits. My twin brother, Evan, didn't even go to college. He's been chasing some dream of being a model or whatever. And now I'm realizing they used a loan in my name to support him. I'm furious and confused. Who does that? Who takes out a loan in someone else's name and uses it for someone else without even telling them? I start raising my voice, asking how much they gave him and why they didn't just take out a loan in his name if he needed help so badly. She keeps dodging my questions, trying to calm me down with, "We'll figure it out. Figure it out. Are you kidding me? There's a $170,000 mountain of debt on my back, and she wants to figure it out later." I tell her, "We need to talk in person now." She finally agrees. I hang up, completely stunned, trying not to break something. I thought I was doing everything right. Now I'm buried under debt I didn't even sign up for. The next few days are a blur. I can't focus on work. I can't sleep. That stupid email keeps replaying in my head. I feel like my life just got hijacked. By the weekend, I decide I need to go over to their house and get this cleared up. I'm holding on to this tiny sliver of hope that there's been some mistake, but deep down, I already know the truth. I show up, and everything looks normal to normal. Like, how can everything look the same when my life's been turned upside down? They're sitting in the living room, clearly waiting for this. I sit down and skip the small talk. "I need to know what's going on with this loan," I say. My dad sighs. He starts talking about how they were just trying to do what was best for both me and Evan, that they didn't mean for it to end up like this. Not good enough. I press them. "How much did you take out? How much did you give to Evan? Why didn't you tell me?" My dad gets defensive, says they were trying to treat us equally, but I don't feel equal. I feel screwed. Eventually, after way too much back and forth, they admit it. They gave Evan $80,000 from the loan. $80,000 for a guy who didn't even go to school. I lose it. "Why didn't you take out a loan in his name?" All I get are excuses. bad credit, no collateral, blah blah blah. I'm boiling, but I try to keep it together. I tell them flat out, I'm only paying what I owe for college. I'm not responsible for Evan's $80,000. That doesn't go over well. My mom starts calling me selfish. Selfish. Can you believe that? I'm the one stuck with this insane debt, and I'm selfish. I tell them, either they figure out how to pay back Evan's part, or he does, but I'm not doing it. When I leave, I'm even more pissed off than before. Everything feels upside down, and now I have to find a way to manage this debt without completely losing my mind. But one thing's clear, I'm not going down without a fight. After that total disaster of a conversation, I'm back at my apartment, fuming. I can't stop thinking about it. I'm not just going to roll over and accept that I'm stuck with this debt because my parents played favorites. I know I need to confront them again, but this time I want to be fully prepared. So, I spend the next couple days digging into everything: student loans, borrower rights, repayment plans, legal stuff. It's overwhelming, but I learn enough to know one thing: they took out more money than they ever should have, and they did it without making sure I fully understood what was happening. So now, I'm going back to their place with a plan. I'm not letting them spin it or sweep it under the rug. I need the truth. And this time, they're going to understand just how serious this is. I'm not their ATM. And I'm definitely not about to spend the next decade paying off a debt I never even benefited from. When I get to my parents' place, everything looks normal. Too normal. That just makes me even more pissed off. They're sitting there watching TV like nothing's wrong, like I'm not out here spiraling over my financial future. I take a deep breath, sit down across from them, and try to keep my cool. We need to talk, I say. They look at me like they know exactly what's coming, but they're not thrilled about it. My dad pauses the TV. My mom sighs like this whole thing is some huge inconvenience for them. I lay it all out. Everything I've learned about the loan, what my actual college costs were, and how the extra $80,000 they took out was completely unnecessary. My mom's expression goes cold, and my dad crosses his arms like he's just waiting for me to finish my rant. Then, I get to the part where I ask them, why didn't you just take out a separate loan for Evan if he needed help so badly? That's when my dad finally speaks. You have to understand, he says, your brother wasn't in a position to get a loan on his own. His grades weren't great, and we didn't want him starting his adult life with that kind of burden. I stare at him, trying not to explode. So you put that burden on me. I worked my ass off to earn a scholarship. I kept my expenses down. I worked part-time. I did everything right. And now I'm the one paying for Evan's career gamble. My dad starts to get defensive. He talks about how they've always tried to support both of us equally and how they never intended for things to turn out like this. But it doesn't feel equal. It feels like I'm their backup plan, like they're using me to cover for Evan's bad choices. I look them straight in the eye and tell them, I'm not paying back the $80,000 you gave to him. My mom goes pale. Her eyes well up, but I don't budge. I know this tactic: she's trying to guilt me, make me feel like I'm turning my back on the family. But I'm done falling for that. She starts the whole, we did this for the family speech, saying Evan deserved a chance to succeed just like I did. I fire back. How is giving him $80,000 to do God knows what the same as me using it to actually get an education? She doesn't have an answer, just more tears. Now my dad jumps in, telling me I'm being too harsh, that I don't understand the pressure they were under. But what about the pressure I'm under now? I'm the one who's going to be buried under this debt for who knows how long, and they still don't seem to get that. We argue for what feels like hours. They keep trying to justify it. I keep calling out every excuse. I'm holding myself together, but inside, I'm seething. It's like they're not even hearing me. Finally, I shift gears. I tell them that if they don't figure out how to pay that $80,000 back, I'm going to take legal action. My dad's face goes blank. My mom looks like she might actually break down. They start begging me not to do anything drastic, saying it'll tear the family apart. But I'm over the guilt trips. I tell them straight, you can either figure out a way to fix this, or I'll do what I have to do to protect myself. My mom, through tears, says they'll try to come up with something, but I can tell she's just saying that to calm me down. My dad doesn't argue anymore. I think it finally hit him: I'm serious. I'm not backing down. As I walk to the door, my mom calls out, are you really going to go through with this? I turn back and say, If I have to, yeah, then I leave. No looking back. Driving home, I feel this mix of anger and sadness. I didn't want it to come to this. But what other choice do I have? They put me in an impossible position, and now I've got to dig my way out of it. When I get back to my apartment, I just collapse onto the couch, completely drained. I stare at the ceiling, trying to make sense of it all. This fight is far from over, but at least now I know what I'm up against. I'm ready. I have to be. I start thinking about next steps, what I need to do legally, how to survive financially, everything. It's overwhelming, but I'm done playing nice. I didn't expect this to be easy, but I never imagined it'd be this hard. Lying there, I realized this is just the beginning. It's going to be a long road, but I've got to stay strong if I'm going to get through it. I will get through it, and after everything that's happened, I know one thing for sure: I'm not letting anyone ruin my future, no matter who they are. After that confrontation, I knew I couldn't just wait around for my parents to suddenly do the right thing. That's not their style. If I wanted to fix this, I had to take control. So I started digging hard. I went through every document I could get my hands on. Loan papers, bank statements, emails, you name it. It wasn't exciting, but I was desperate. I needed to know exactly what had happened with this loan. Was there any way to challenge it? Could I avoid being stuck with that extra $80,000? As I combed through the paperwork, the numbers started to speak for themselves. My actual tuition bills didn't line up at all with the loan amounts. It was obvious my parents had taken out way more than I needed, and they never told me. But the real gut punch came when I figured out how they got into my bank account in the first place. Back when I was 18, I was clueless. Like most kids, I didn't know a thing about financial documents or how loans worked. So when my parents asked me to sign a few papers so they could help manage my money, I didn't even hesitate. I trusted them. Huge mistake. Turns out, those papers gave them full access to my account. At the time, I thought they just wanted to make sure I didn't overspend or get into trouble while I was in school. But now, looking at those documents, it's clear that's how they pulled the extra $80,000 without ever asking me. They knew I didn't understand what I was signing, and they used that to their advantage. The anger I felt then, it wasn't just rage, it was betrayal. These were supposed to be the people looking out for me, and they used my trust to dump me into a financial nightmare. But if they thought I was just going to lie down and take it, they don't know me at all. I started researching everything I could about challenging unauthorized transactions and disputing fraudulent loans. It's complicated, and honestly, a bit of a long shot. There are deadlines and legal hoops to jump through. I might have waited too long, but I had to try. While digging into all this, I also started thinking about Evan. He's just been coasting, totally oblivious, while I'm here cleaning up the mess, and I'm sick of it. He might be my brother, but that doesn't mean I have to carry his baggage. Not anymore. This whole mess. It's time Evan takes some responsibility too. I've had enough of my parents shielding him from the consequences of his actions. I need answers. I want to know what he did with the money, and if there's even a chance, no matter how small, he'll step up and help pay it back. I'm not holding my breath though. Evan's never exactly been what you'd call reliable. One night, I decide to wait for him. He usually stumbles in past midnight, so I make some coffee and camp out in the kitchen. My parents are already asleep. The perfect moment to catch him alone. Around 12:30, I hear his car in the driveway. My heart's pounding. I have no idea how this is going to go, but I'm done pretending everything's fine. He walks in, and I keep it chill at first. Offer him a cup of coffee. We talk about random stuff. School, work, whatever. He doesn't suspect anything. Classic Evan, always dodging conflict. He probably thinks it's just a normal late-night chat. Then I bring up the loan. I ask if he has any idea how deep in trouble I am because of the money our parents gave him. He looks at me like I'm speaking another language, like he has no clue what I'm talking about. And that just makes me angrier. So I lay it out. The $80,000, the loan in my name, how I'm the one who has to pay it all back. He stares at me for a second, then goes, "What money? I didn't get $80,000, I snap. I raise my voice, tell him they took out a massive loan in my name, and handed him the money. And he's just sitting there, blinking at me like this is brand new information. Then he goes, "Oh, I thought they just gave me some money to help out with stuff." Stuff. He thought they gave him $80,000 for stuff. I'm about to lose it. I ask him what he actually did with the money. He shrugs and says, I don't know. Trips, going out with friends, the usual, the usual. He spent $80,000 on vacations and parties like it was nothing. Meanwhile, I'm being crushed under the weight of a loan I didn't even agree to. I start yelling. I tell him he needs to pay it back, that it's his mess, and he needs to fix it. But he just looks at me like I've lost my mind. It's not my fault Mom and Dad gave me the money, he says. I didn't ask for it, and that's when it hits me. He doesn't feel bad. He doesn't think he did anything wrong. He has zero guilt about dumping this on me. He's going to keep floating through life like nothing happened. I'm done. I tell him I'm not paying back a single cent of that $80,000, and if he doesn't figure out a way to pay it back, I will take legal action. He laughs like I'm bluffing. Good luck with that, he says, like this is a joke. I storm out of the kitchen without saying another word. I'm so furious, I can barely see straight. How did it come to this? How did I end up saddled with a brother who doesn't care and parents who thought it was okay to use me like a credit card? Back at my apartment, I crash onto the bed drained. But sleep won't come. That conversation keeps replaying in my mind, looping over and over. I know I can't let this go, but I'm not sure what my next move is. One thing's certain, I'm done playing the nice guy. If my family thinks they can walk all over me, they're about to get a rude awakening. I'm not backing down. I'm not giving up. It's time. After that train wreck of a talk with Evan, I'm back at my place, trying to settle my nerves. I feel like I've been emotionally sucker punched. It just keeps spiraling. My parents won't take ownership. Evan's off in La La Land, and I'm the one stuck with the fallout. It's exhausting fighting this alone, but I'm not built to roll over. If they think I'm going to carry this $170,000 debt quietly, they've got another thing coming. I realize I've been reacting to everything they do, like I'm on defense 24/7. That stops now. I need to take control, set boundaries, make it clear I'm done negotiating. So I give my parents one last chance. I call them up and say, I'm coming over. My mom sounds nervous, like she knows something's up. I don't give her details, just, we need to talk. When I get there, same routine. They're in the living room, watching TV, like everything's peachy. I sit down, take a deep breath, and go in calm. No yelling, just the facts. I walk them through it again, how serious this is, how the money they took has left me hanging over a cliff. My mom starts tearing up, like always, says they never meant for it to get this bad, that they just wanted to help Evan, that they thought I could handle it. I cut her off. I tell her, this isn't about Evan anymore. It's about them putting me in an impossible spot and expecting me to just deal with it quietly. Then, I drop the hammer. If you don't pay back the $80,000, I'm filing a lawsuit. Dead silence. I explain I've done the research. They took out way more than necessary. They used my account, forged documents, misrepresented my tuition. It's all there. And, if they don't fix it, I will take legal action. Now my mom's sobbing, but this time it's different. There's panic behind the tears. My dad's just staring at me, trying to read whether I'm bluffing. I'm not. He finally speaks. He tries to reason with me, asks if there's any way we can work it out without lawyers. But I'm past all that. This is your mess. I say you clean it up. I'm not ruining my future for a mistake you made. My mom pleads again, says they're broke, that court will ruin the family. And yeah, for a moment I feel bad. But then I remember all the sleepless nights, the anxiety, the betrayal, and that guilt fades real quick. I tell them they have 2 weeks. 2 weeks to come up with a plan. After that, I file. No more discussions. No more excuses. My dad starts getting angry now. Says I'm tearing the family apart over money. I shut that down real fast. You're the ones who put me in this position, I tell him. I'm just doing what I need to survive. We go back and forth for a while, but I don't budge. Eventually, my dad says, they'll see what they can do. He's pissed. My mom's still crying. I don't have the energy to care anymore. I walk out of that house completely drained, but also, somehow, relieved. I gave them a chance. A real one. If they don't take it, that's on them. Over the next few days, I wait. I expect a phone call, a text, something. Instead, I get a few guilt trip messages from my mom. Please reconsider. This is tearing us apart. We don't know what to do. But I stay firm. 2 weeks. That's it. Tick-tock. Days go by. and I start preparing for the worst. I print out every document I've collected, emails, bank statements, loan agreements, anything that might help me in court. I even meet with a lawyer to make sure I know what I'm walking into. The whole thing feels unreal, like I'm gearing up for a legal war against my own parents, but deep down, I know it's what I have to do. My friends and my girlfriend are supportive, but I can see the concern in their eyes. They keep asking if I'm really sure about this. Are you really going to sue your parents? It's a hard question, because no who wants to sue the people who raised them. But I keep telling them the same thing. I don't have a choice. If I let this go, I'll be stuck with this debt for the rest of my life, and I refuse to carry the consequences of their decisions. Then, the 2-week deadline hits. Still no word from them. Not a call, not a message, nothing. I start thinking, maybe they're just going to ignore this and hope I give up. But they don't realize I'm not that guy anymore. I'm not backing down. I send one final text to my mom. Reminder, today's the deadline. If I don't hear from you by the end of the day, I'm filing the lawsuit tomorrow morning. That night, I lie in bed, staring at the ceiling. I feel like I'm about to cross some invisible line I can't ever uncross. It's a mess of emotions, anger, sadness, fear, but there's also relief. I gave them every opportunity to make this right. Whatever happens now, it's on them. The next morning, I wake up to a text from my mom. It's short, just a few lines. We're working on getting the money together. Please don't do anything yet. We'll talk soon. It's not what I hoped for, but it's something. At least I know they're finally taking me seriously. I reply, you've got 1 more week to give me a real plan. If you do, I'll hold off. But if you're stalling, I won't hesitate. So I wait. Again. And while I'm waiting, I'm stuck in this weird limbo, frustrated, tired, angry. I don't know if they're trying to pull something together, or if they're just hoping I'll get tired and back off. More days pass. Nothing. Not a word. I keep checking my phone like I'm waiting on a life or death message, and I start thinking about how this whole thing has shattered whatever relationship we had left. Maybe there's no going back. Maybe there shouldn't be. Then, out of nowhere, I get a call from my dad. It's late, and I'm half asleep when the phone rings. I answer, and before I can even say hello, he's yelling. He's going off about how I'm tearing the family apart, how I'm being selfish, how after everything they've done for me, this is how I repay them. I'm barely awake, but his words hit hard. It's like every guilt trip he's ever laid on me all rolled into one angry rant. He says, do you really want to be the reason your mother ends up in the hospital? Evan's already struggling now. You want to make it worse for him. Same script, different night. I let him finish. Then I take a breath. Dad, this isn't about tearing the family apart. This is about what's fair. You put me in this position. I'm doing what I have to do to protect myself. But he won't hear it. Keeps yelling, saying I'm being unreasonable, that I should just trust them to figure it out. How can I trust them after everything? They lied to me, used my name, took money I never needed, and now I'm the bad guy for standing up for myself. I tell him flat out, I've given you enough chances. If you can't fix it, I will. He starts yelling again, but I cut him off. This conversation isn't going anywhere. I've made my decision. I'm not backing down. Click. He hangs up. I'm left staring at the phone like I've just been slapped. I feel sick, but I know deep down I did the right thing. I'm done letting them guilt me into silence. This is my life, and I'm finally taking control of it. The next morning, I wake up to a flood of texts from my mom. Some are begging, some are guilt trips, others try to reason with me. She writes, we're your parents. We'd never do anything to hurt you. Evan's your brother. He needs your support, not your anger. But I've heard it all before. I know exactly where that road leads me, getting hurt, then pretending everything's fine. I reply, still waiting on a plan to repay the money. You've only got a few days left. She doesn't answer right away. When she finally does, it's more of the same. We're trying our best. We don't have the money right now. Please be patient. At this point, I'm not even surprised. I'm starting to think they never planned to pay me back. They just figured they could wear me down until I gave up. But they were wrong. A few more days go by. The pressure's mounting. I feel it in my chest every time I check the date. The deadline's coming up, and I have to be ready. Part of me still hopes they'll come through, but I know better now. Then on the very last day I get a call. It's Evan. I'm surprised. He's been silent since our last talk. I answer, and he doesn't sound angry, just tired. He says he's sorry, that he didn't want things to get this bad, that he wishes he could fix it. I stay quiet. Let him speak. He tells me he's thought a lot about what I said, that he understands why I'm angry, that he should have asked more questions, been more responsible. Then he says, but I don't have the money. Modeling hasn't been paying, and I'm barely. Something like I was supposed to just accept the damage, keep the peace, and move on. But peace? What peace? My parents had already shattered any trust I had left. And Evan, he was still acting like this whole thing was somehow my fault, like I was the one who had done something wrong. I can't even count how many times I was called ungrateful. Like I should be thanking them for what? For sticking me with the $170,000 debt. The court process started slow. Lots of paperwork back and forth between lawyers, hearings being scheduled. All of it was overwhelming, but my attorney was incredible. He kept me in the loop, explained everything clearly, and made sure I didn't feel like a total idiot in a legal maze. Still, every time I signed something or walked into a meeting, it hit me like a punch to the gut. This wasn't a nightmare. This was real. My life. Then, about a week ago, everything changed. My lawyer called to say my parents wanted to settle. No shock there. They finally realized I wasn't bluffing, and they knew this lawsuit could cost them more than $80,000 if it went all the way. Damage control, that's always been their move. When we met at my lawyer's office, they looked tired, worn down. My mom couldn't even meet my eyes, and my dad, he looked pissed. Like I was the one putting them through hell, like I was making them pay for their own mistakes. Settlement talks were tense. My lawyer did most of the talking, which I appreciated because I honestly don't know if I could have kept it together otherwise. My parents tried to negotiate a bit less than what they owed, but my lawyer shut it down fast. He made it clear we had a solid case, and if they didn't settle now, they'd end up paying more in court. In the end, they agreed. Full $80,000, plus a little extra to cover legal fees. No celebration, no victory lap, just a hollow win. I got what I came for, but at what cost? My relationship with my parents is shattered. Evan didn't even show up. I guess once mom and dad agreed to pay, he figured it wasn't his problem anymore. When we left, my mom tried to talk to me, said she was sorry, that they never meant for it to get this bad, but I couldn't even look at her. I told her, it's too late for apologies. Maybe that sounds harsh, but after a while, sorry stops meaning anything. You want to make it right, then act like it. And they never did. My dad didn't say a word, just walked out without looking back. I stood there for a minute, watching them leave, and it hit me this might be the last time I ever see them. Because how do you come back from this? How do you pretend it never happened? You don't. Too much damage. Too many lines crossed. And honestly, I'm not even sure I want to fix it. A few days later, the money came through. I used it to pay off the loan. I'm officially debt-free, but it didn't feel like I thought it would. No rush of relief, no celebration, just emptiness. There's a hole where my family used to be, and I don't know what to do with it. My friends have been amazing. My girlfriend's been my anchor through all of this, but there's still this ache, because no matter how messed up things were, they were still my parents. Now, they're just people I used to know. I'm trying to move forward, focus on the future. My internship turned into a full-time job. I'm doing well. I've even started looking for a new apartment, maybe a new city, a clean slate. But there's this feeling I can't shake, like I'm leaving something behind, even if that something was toxic. Sometimes I wonder, did I make the right call? Should I have just taken the hit, kept the peace? But then I remember how they treated me, how they used me, and I know I did what I had to do. Doing the right thing doesn't always feel good. Sometimes it just feels necessary. So now, here I am trying to rebuild a life without the people who were supposed to help me build it. It's not easy, and I'd be lying if I said I didn't have doubts. But I'm learning to trust myself, learning that I don't need their approval to stand on my own 2 feet. In the end, I think that's what this whole nightmare taught me, that I'm stronger than I thought, that I don't need to keep fighting for people who were never fighting for me, that sometimes the only way to protect your peace is to walk away. I don't know what the future holds, but for the first time in a long time I'm okay with that, because I'm finally living my life for me. And maybe, just maybe, that's the best ending I could have hoped for.